You're listening to WZ Tales. This story is about a man who gets laid off, is dumped by text for being an unemployed loser, and then watches his ex try to come back when his life takes off. As you listen, ask yourself when you would have closed that door for good. My girlfriend said, "I can't date an unemployed loser." I replied, "Life is better without you." Then I paid off my debts, took the better job, bought a home of my own, blocked her number, and I just watched as the woman who dumped me for status was forced to stamp my mortgage papers. I am 32 years old and I work in construction engineering, mostly as a project manager on infrastructure jobs. For 4 years, I worked at a mid-sized company. Good performance reviews, steady pay, not glamorous, but solid and stable. My girlfriend at the time, Jennifer, was 28 and worked as a loan officer at a regional bank. We had been together about a year and a half. We were talking about getting engaged, looking at places to rent together. I had even started putting money aside for a ring. Jennifer was very focused on money. She talked a lot about credit scores, investment portfolios, retirement planning. At first I saw that as responsible. She wanted security. That seemed fair. But looking back, there were signs I ignored. She would ask pointed questions about my bonus structure, make comments about what my coworkers probably made, compare our income to other couples we knew. It was like she was always running numbers in the background of our relationship. Sometimes the red flag is not what someone says once. It is the pattern they repeat over and over. About 3 months ago, things at my company started to feel off. Projects got delayed. Clients started pulling contracts. The mood in the office shifted from normal stress to quiet anxiety. I have lived through restructuring before. I knew the signs, so I updated my resume on the down low. I reached out to contacts and started taking interviews during lunch breaks. I did not tell Jennifer because I did not want to stress her until I had something real. 2 weeks before everything went down, I had a final interview with a smaller structural design firm. They did higher profile work, more creative projects. The interview went better than I could have hoped. They made a verbal offer in the room. Senior structural project lead. About a 35% salary bump. 3 days a week remote. Better benefits. They said the formal offer letter would come within the week. Then, about 8 weeks ago on a Thursday morning, I got called into a conference room. HR was there. My director was there. Folders on the table. Before they even spoke, my stomach dropped. The company had lost 2 major contracts. They were cutting 15% of white-collar positions. My role was being restructured out. They were polite, professional, apologetic in that corporate way. My severance was generous. 4 months of pay, paid out time off, extended health insurance, my retirement funds rolled over. In short, I was not in immediate danger. I had time and money to land well. I walked out to my truck and just sat there breathing for 20 minutes. Then I texted Jennifer. "I just got laid off. I'll come over tonight and we can talk through everything." I expected concern. Maybe some shock. I figured we would talk through the severance, my job search, how this might change our plans for a while. Her reply came half an hour later. First text, "Are you serious?" Second text, "I can't believe this is happening." Then silence for 10 minutes while I drove home. After that, the flood started. I don't think I can be in a relationship with someone who's unemployed at 32. I need to be with someone who has their career together, not someone starting over. I've worked too hard to build financial stability to risk it on someone without a job. And then the line that stuck with me. I can't gamble my future on an unemployed loser. Consider this a breakup. I hope you figure your life out. I pulled over to read that last one. I just stared at my phone. This was the woman I had introduced to my parents. The person I had been saving for a ring for. And on the worst day of my career, she called me an unemployed loser and ended our relationship over text. How someone treats you on your hardest day tells you more than 100 nice dates ever will. I did not call her. I did not beg. I just typed back, "Thanks for showing me where I really stood with you." When I got home, I opened my email. The offer letter from the new firm was sitting in my inbox. Senior structural project lead. Base salary up 35%. Annual bonus structure. Start date in 3 weeks. I sat there for a long time, reading it over and over. Then I called my friend Marcus, who is a financial advisor. We spent 2 hours on the phone planning, pay off my car and credit cards, build a 6 to 9 month emergency fund. Put a chunk toward a future down payment. Invest the rest. Use the severance to set myself up instead of patching a broken situation. The next 3 weeks were probably the best unemployment period anyone could ask for. I had a signed offer letter, so I let myself rest. I hit the gym every morning. I visited my parents for a week. I started an online project management course I had been putting off. I meal prepped, slept 8 hours a night, and did not contact Jennifer at all. 3 days after I started the new job, I updated my LinkedIn. Excited to share that I've started as Senior Structural Project Lead at. The comments and messages rolled in. Former coworkers congratulated me. New coworkers welcomed me. A few people from Jennifer's social circle saw it too. About a week later, I used some of the severance to buy a new car. Not exotic, but a very nice hybrid SUV I had been eyeing for a year. I paid cash. One afternoon, I was driving out of a supermarket parking lot when I saw Jennifer and her friend Amy loading groceries into Amy's car. They both stared at the SUV, then at me. I gave a small nod and kept driving. That night around 10, my phone buzzed. "Hey, I've been thinking a lot about us. I believe in second chances, you know. Maybe we just hit a rough patch. Everyone goes through stuff. I think we could make it work if we both tried." I stared at that message for a while. It is funny how fast some people remember second chances when your circumstances improve. I thought about the layoff text, the unemployed loser line, the complete lack of support. Then I wrote my response. I believe in second chances too. That's why I gave myself one. My life is significantly better without you in it. I won't go back to someone who called me an unemployed loser when I needed support, then only reached out again after seeing I upgraded. That tells me everything I need to know about your priorities. She read it right away. I saw the typing dots appear, disappear, appear again. Nothing came through. I thought that was the end. A few days later, I got a message from Megan, a mutual friend from Jennifer's circle. We had always been friendly, but not close. "Noah, I don't know if I should show you this, but I think you need to see what she's been saying about you." She sent screenshots from a group chat of about 8 women, including Jennifer. The messages were from the week after our breakup, when I was supposedly just sitting at home jobless. Jennifer had written, "Girls, I finally had to pull the plug on Noah. I feel so relieved. The man had zero ambition, just wanted to coast in his mediocre job forever. I need someone who's going places. I've actually been talking to this doctor I met through the bank. He makes twice what Noah does. He's taking me to an amazing restaurant this weekend." Someone asked if she felt bad about ending it right after I lost my job. Jennifer replied, "Honestly, the layoff was just confirmation of what I already knew. He's the kind of guy who's fine being comfortable. He's a plan B guy, not a plan A. I want someone with drive." Another friend asked what I said when she broke up with me. She wrote, "Oh, he was just like, thanks for showing your priorities," or something passive-aggressive like that. Very typical of his low ambition energy. But this is me being brave and not settling for mediocrity. She did not mention my new offer. She did not mention the severance. She did not mention that I had already landed somewhere better before she even hit send on Unemployed Loser. She rewrote the story so she was the brave heroine leaving dead weight. People who depend on looking like the hero in every story will almost always edit the facts to fit that role. Megan told me that the whole group had been taking Jennifer out for drinks, hyping her up, telling her she deserved better, until my LinkedIn update went live. Then a few of them asked questions. We thought he was actually broke and unemployed with no prospects. She kind of left out the part about the new job. Megan apologized for believing Jennifer's version without asking me. I told her I appreciated it, but I was fine. I was not going back, and I did not need anyone to pick a side. I thought that would be the last I heard from Jennifer. It was not. About a week later, she texted again. This time it was longer, more polished. Noah, I've been doing a lot of reflecting. I'm building a high-income client base at the bank now, working with people in your industry. Actually, I was thinking we could be a real power couple. You with your senior engineering position, me handling the financial strategy side. We could be so good together. I was wrong to react the way I did. Can we meet for coffee? I read it twice. It did not feel like an apology. It felt like a pitch deck. She was not saying, I am sorry I hurt you. She was saying, you and I together would be a great brand. My answer was short. I don't need a power couple. I need a partner who won't bail when things get hard. You're not that person. Please don't contact me again, she replied. You're making a mistake. We were good together. I wrote back, no, you were good while I was useful. I am just finally good enough for you now that my income meets your standards. That is not love. Goodbye, Jennifer. Then I blocked her number. Sometimes the healthiest boundary is not a long speech. It is the decision not to reopen the door. 10 months went by, no calls, no messages, no drama. I settled into my new job. I got praised for my work on 2 big projects. My savings grew. My investments from the severance did well. I started thinking about buying property, not just for myself, but as an investment. I found a duplex in a solid neighborhood. Clean, good bones, nothing fancy. The plan was to live in one unit and rent out the other, so the rent would cover most of the mortgage. Marcus and I ran the numbers. I got pre-approved for a mortgage. My credit score was excellent. I had a 20% down payment ready in cash. The bank said they would assign a loan officer to my file. I got the email. Your loan officer is Jennifer M. Please schedule an appointment at the branch. I stared at it for 5 minutes. I almost asked for someone else. Then I thought, I have nothing to hide. This is business. I am buying a house. She is doing her job. We can be adults. I went to the branch on a Wednesday afternoon. The receptionist sent me to a desk in the corner. I sat down, opened my folder, and looked up. Jennifer looked up at the same time. For 2 seconds, her face went blank. Surprise, then a flash of panic, then a mask of professionalism. She recovered fast. Noah, hi, I'll be handling your loan application today. Her voice was neutral, very careful. I matched her tone. Let's get started. She pulled up my file on her screen and started reading. I knew what she was seeing. My current salary, my savings, my down payment amount, my debt-to-income ratio, my credit score. Her expression did not change much, but I saw her swallow. The meeting took about an hour. She asked all the standard questions. I handed over documents and signed papers. On the surface, it was just another loan appointment. But every time she looked at a number, I could see the calculation in her eyes. This was the unemployed loser she had dumped over text, sitting across from her buying an investment property, putting down cash, with an income that easily qualified for more. While she, as I later heard from Megan, still shared an apartment with a roommate because of student loans. At one point while I was signing a form, she tried to make small talk. You look good, you're doing well, I'm happy for you. I looked up. I'm doing fine, exactly like you hoped. I figured my life out. She gave a small, awkward laugh. I know I said some things that were harsh that day. If you're open to it, I'd like to actually apologize for real. I put the pen down. I hear you. But here's the thing, Jennifer, I don't forget. Once someone tells you that you're only valuable when your income is high enough, you remember that forever. She started to say, that's not what I meant. I cut her off gently. You called me an unemployed loser by text on the day I lost my job. Those were your exact words. You meant it in that moment. I believed you. She looked down at the desk. I was scared about my own financial situation. I didn't handle it well. You handled it exactly how you chose to. You made a calculation about my worth and I didn't meet your standards. That is your right, but I also get to remember what your standards are. We finished the paperwork in silence. At the end, I shook her hand like she was any other bank employee, because that is all she was to me now. As I walked out, I heard the printer behind her desk spitting out my welcome to homeownership packet. The same kind of milestone she once said we could not reach together because I was not stable enough. Now she was the one printing the congratulations. I sat in my car for a few minutes afterward, not because I was upset, but because I realized something important. Seeing her, hearing her voice, sitting in front of her while she processed my success, did not hurt. It just felt like proof that I had made the right decision. The house closed 3 weeks later. I moved into one unit. I found a tenant for the other, and their rent covers about 3/4 of my mortgage. I bought furniture, set up a home office for remote days, and I adopted a dog from the shelter, a 3-year-old lab mix named Murphy who now thinks the couch is his. I thought that was the final chapter of the Jennifer story. Life moved on. Work kept going well. About a year after the bank meeting, I got promoted again to principal project lead. Another raise, more responsibility. I also started dating someone. Her name is Lena. She is a 4th-grade teacher. We met at a coffee shop. She was grading papers. I was working on a proposal. Her class was doing a unit on bridges, so she asked me a few questions about structural design. We ended up talking for 2 hours. I asked her out the next week. On our 4th date, I told her the whole Jennifer situation. The layoff, the texts, the car, the loan, all of it. I figured she should know where I had been. She listened quietly. Then she said, "That must have hurt a lot. Are you okay now? Not what was your salary then. Not how much do you make now. Just, are you okay?" That was the moment I realized how different she was. We are taking things slow. No rush to move in or get engaged. It feels steady and kind. It feels like a relationship, not a business plan. I honestly thought the Jennifer chapter was closed for good. Then, a couple of weeks ago, Megan tagged me in a TikTok. It was a video from a women and money brunch at a fancy restaurant downtown. Jennifer was one of 3 guest speakers on a panel. The topic was financial red flags in dating and protecting your future. I almost scrolled past. Then curiosity won. Her segment was about 8 minutes long. She told a story about an ex-boyfriend who lost his job and expected her to support him financially and emotionally through his long unemployment. According to her, I was jobless for almost 6 months. In reality, it was 3 weeks between layoff and start date. She said I borrowed money from her regularly. That never happened. She said I pressured her to co-sign an apartment lease while I had no income. In reality, we had already been looking at places before the layoff, and I never asked her to sign anything while I was out of work. She said she had to give up her own dream of buying property because she was busy propping up a man who refused to take his job search seriously. She knew nothing about my job search because I had not even had the chance to tell her about my new offer before she dumped me. She painted herself as the woman who finally found the courage to walk away from a man who was dragging her down. Every detail was either twisted or simply invented, but it was told smoothly enough that the audience nodded and clapped. The comments were exactly what you would expect. "You go girl, protect your bag. This is why women need to vet men carefully." Megan messaged me after the video. "This is insane. Are you going to say something?" My first instinct was to go public, post screenshots of the unemployed loser text with timestamps, post the job offer email date, post the house closing date, tag her, let the internet judge. But then I thought about what I actually wanted. I did not want to blow up her life. I did not want a viral fight. I just did not want our mutual circle to be fooled. So I put together a small package and sent it to 6 people. Megan and a few other mutual friends who had been in that original group chat, people who might work with her one day or bring her into their spaces. The package had screenshots of the layoff day texts, including "unemployed loser" with timestamps, a screenshot of my job offer email showing I got it before she broke up with me, a screenshot of my LinkedIn update showing my start date 3 weeks later, a screenshot of my duplex closing documents with the date, and a simple note. She is free to tell whatever story she wants about her life, but since she is now telling one that involves me, here is the actual timeline. What you do with this is up to you. I did not post it publicly. I did not confront her. I did not comment on the TikTok. According to Megan, the effect was quiet but clear. 2 women from that group chat unfriended Jennifer on social media. One messaged her and asked her to stop using her as a professional reference. The brunch group did not invite her back for the next event. She deleted the TikTok a week later. Her Instagram went private. She still has her job. She still has her life. But the people around her now know she is willing to bend the truth to make herself look better. When you lose your credibility, especially in a small network that follows you. Last week, I got a message request on Instagram. It was from Jennifer. I saw some people pulled away from me after that brunch event. If this is about you and me, I wish you'd at least talk to me directly instead of whatever you did behind my back. I did not reply, because here is what I have finally understood. She still thinks this is about me being spiteful. She still thinks this is a game of revenge. She does not understand that this is about consequences. You cannot call someone an unemployed loser at their lowest point, try to come back when they have rebuilt, and then publicly lie about them for sympathy and expect nothing to happen. I did not ruin anything for her. I just made sure the people who mattered had the facts. I do not owe her a speech about that, so that is where it ends. I live in my duplex with Murphy, who is currently sleeping wherever he wants. My tenant renewed their lease. I enjoy my work. I spend my weekends in a welding class because I have always wanted to learn metal work. I date a woman who asks if I am okay before she asks what I earn. Life is very full and entirely mine. Here are some lessons from this story. Lesson 1. How someone responds on your worst day tells you more about them than how they behave on your best days. Lesson 2. If your worth in a relationship rises and falls only with your income, you are not a partner. You are a financial product. Lesson 3. People who rewrite history to protect their ego will usually do it again. Believe their patterns, not their speeches. Lesson 4. You do not need to destroy someone publicly to protect yourself. Sometimes it is enough to quietly share the truth with the people who actually need to know. Lesson 5. Blocking contact and moving on is not petty. It is how you make space for a future that fits who you are now. Lesson 6. You are allowed to choose someone who cares more about your well-being than your earning potential. What about you? At what point would you have decided there was no going back? And have you ever had an ex try to return only after your life improved? Share your story in the comments.